So Patrick Ewing came out recently and said that he doesn't really watch The Last Dance. You know, the one about the Chicago Bulls and with Michael Jordan's dominance in the 90s. Why would you expect him to? He lived it. Who would want to relive that? And it wasn't just The Last Dance. It just didn't really hit in the 90s. You know, where do we begin with the Knicks and stuff? I mean, obviously those back-to-back years when they lost um in 92, 93, and then they did get through in 94, but then what happened? um they had the unfortunate situation. They went against the Rockets, and John Starks missed all those shots. They couldn't go cope. I think they had the follow-up year where Patrick Ewing tried that finger roll. It didn't roll. It didn't happen. So the 90s was pretty rough on them if you think about it. And they had their battles with the Heat, and they ended up losing, and they had situations. And then when they did get to the finals with Latrell Sprewell down in Houston there, he was hurt and they lost to the Spurs. So it was not something you want to miss. But the Last Dance in particular, if we're going through from the Bulls runs from 90 to 98, the 6 out of 8 and all that, and when you was part of it and a big fixture, you know, there was always something. He might get a few regular season wins, and they had some moments but the best chance they had was when they were up 2-0 in 93 and didn't finish that series. And they were just always, I think, missing the right score. I think they needed a right point guard. I think that's where having maybe of having a Rod Strickland, definitely if you had a Michael Ray Richardson and a Bernard King healthy, if you had those two with Ewing, I believe he probably would have gotten a chip, to me. All due respect to Derek Harper and Mark Jackson and Anthony Mason, and I think Greg Anthony Kim and some of those guys. But I believe Bernard King, a B King, and Michael Ray Richardson healthy and focused, and those guys were playing for a decade and they played with Ewing, I think they win a ring. I think that would have been a scary threesome. I really do. You put him with Bernard King, because you go back 40 years ago when Bernard King was busting things up and stays healthy, and then you and Michael Ray Richardson, he's straight, and you get Patrick Ewing, I think you got a heck of a squad, especially after time. But it just wasn't meant to be. But no, Ewing doesn't have any reason to want to watch The Last Dance ever. He lived it. Why would he? I mean, it's one of those things. It's kind of like if you were, who can I pick on? I got to make an analysis. If you were a member of the Buffalo Bills and you had to relive those Super Bowl losses, that'd be hard to want to live through that again, because that is tough to digest. You know, when you've been in a situation where you were close but you didn't quite get it done, especially when you had to deal with someone up close and personal, or you're in a division with somebody that always seemed to own you, especially like when you were really good, but you just couldn't beat them. And there's always that one situation where you could just never, get over that. And you knew they were just a notch above you. So now that wouldn't be something that you'd want to relive. And why would Patrick Ewing want to put himself through that misery? That just wouldn't be fair. But I'm just saying. And it doesn't take the fact that Patrick Ewing was a great player, but they just didn't have the horses. And I don't think he was quite the next to beating them, but he was a strong talent. Make no mistake about it. It's just that the Bulls had a better team. And for different positionings, I think that's what helped. But I am a firm believer, and you can quote me on it. You get Michael Ray Richardson focused and everything was clean with him, Bernard King healthy and whatnot, with Ewing, or some of the pieces they had, I think they would have probably won a chip. I do. I do. I just think they didn't have the talent level to balance up against when they end up. Because losing to the Rockets the way they did, and the finger roll off game against Rick Smits and the Pacers when they lost that one year, I'm just saying, to me, that's one of the things that there was just a few components that just didn't add up. But you tell me what you think. But he admitted it. There's no problem with admitting it. Please hit like, subscribe, welcome thoughts, comments, and I do respond. Thank you. Wash your hands. Keep your mind clear. Watch out for another share of if you like. Hit that membership, because when you do, the requests you make, I'll bring them back to you. Stay safe, stay blessed, stay true, stay woke, stay free. I'm out one time. Peace.